Sometimes I say that I want you back, but I don't know if I do. Sometimes I think about the good days we had, but there were bad days too.
Afternoon. Afternoon. I was teaching Alycia some French today, so she.
What was it?
No, you. See, beautiful, talented, and multilingual. She speaks so many languages. Now she speaks French.
Now I speak French, totally. How was your morning, guys? Did you have fun? Great. Well, Ricky was just like dancing up the storm with everyone. That was very something to witness. Yeah. I'm eating all the time. You're correct. Yeah. Maybe do we have a first question for our?
Wow, you
Oh.
nearly broke your arm. I got this.
I promise. Yeah.
I'm not choosing you because she's the boss.
Well, okay. There's one down here in the front.
It was asked before. Can you hear me?
Where? Bonjour.
I'm American, so.
You're American?
The question is, you talk about when you started acting, what you thought it would be like. And then when you became an actor, was it what you thought it was going to be, and probably not, or if it was, can you describe the difference or the sameness?
The feeling on set when you work with people that you love and that you're on a show that, or project that you really are passionate about, that's always the same. The excitement of getting to be on a set every day is just the most fun, and it's just got a different energy that is always, I find, it just exists constantly, and that's why I don't think I could do any other job, because it is so exciting being on a set. There is just a different magic to it. But as far as nearly everything else was very different. And I think it keeps changing. It's, there's different stages of it too, when you're you don't have a job and then you really need to fight for jobs, or you really have to there are some things that you think are going to be really, really great and then turn out to be different to what you expected, or other things that you don't expect as much and then suddenly they blossom into something really special. The differences that I didn't expect were more on the personal side of everything, probably. And especially with the rise in social media and access that people have to you, that was something that I just was not ready for and did not expect. Because it wasn't on my radar, and it wasn't something that I came into this industry wanting. It was very much I enjoy playing a character and being on set and make believe and dressing up. And then there was this whole other element to it that was that also just grown in the last decade, really. So that was very different. I don't know. I think also one of the other things that I thought was interesting was how much time you spend alone as well. Or how unglamorous some of this stuff is. You think it's really, really glamorous, because it's the 10% that you see, which is the red carpet stuff, or the premiere, or how it does on TV or on the big screen, and you're oh wow, that's what it's like all the time. In reality, it's no. I mean, 2 weeks ago I was on 5 flights in 1 week, and was completely jet lagged, having filmed for 7 months, and was completely exhausted, breaking out, and just a disaster. It's a very different, not being able to call your family because they're in different time zones. It's random stuff that you just don't expect. But then the feeling of what this job is, and the reason I think we all got into it for the first place, still is exactly the same. That joy, that excitement, that passion, magic. Yeah. It was a very long answer, but.
But no, yeah, just to add on, you judging me.
Seriously, when you're like
I don't take you seriously
clutching
anyway.
a bowl of candy.
So Alycia reminded me of my nickname when I was in the 100.
Yeah. Sweetmeats.
And it wasn't because it was sweet. It sounds really bad.
It's just because all he eats is candy and meat, and I was like, that's all you eat? I was like, not even like, lettuce or something. He's like,
No vegetables.
I was like, no vegetables.
No vegetables, no fruit.
I was like, yeah, and I was like, fruit.
I like candy and chocolate and meat.
I was like, but where do you get your nutrients? And you were like, candy and meat. And I just like mind blown. Literally, it's true. It's like, you're not even kidding.
Meat and
it's like
candy.
for real. It's meat and candy. Yeah, he still looks like this. I don't know. I was like eating meat and candy. I mean, I just ridiculous.
You're ridiculous. You are. Let me check. But yeah, just to add on to some of your stuff is the privacy and the pressure that society puts on you to always be perfect. Why? It's just a job. Recently, Jason Momoa is getting a lot of body shaming because he's not ripped up. They took a photo of him on the beach, looking beautiful and phenomenal, by the way. But because he's not jacked up like when he was in Aquaman, when he was training, everyone's like going, oh, he's letting himself. No. It's important, like when I post pictures of me during filming American Gods and I'm in good shape, or I'm doing photo shoots for Men's Health and stuff, and I'm quick to say, I don't look like that all the time. That's after a serious diet, serious amounts of training, and really bad dehydration. It's really unhealthy to look like that all the time, and your body needs a rest, and when you're not filming, you relax, you're allowed to let go, but society, no one here really posts a picture without putting a filter on now. We've got to a stage in life where people are ashamed of themselves to just put their own face out. They'll always put ears on, or a cute face on, or a filter that makes your skin, or they'll Photoshop something. And everyone's different, everyone's unique, everyone should just be happy to be themselves, but unfortunately sometimes celebrity put happy. But it's okay to be different, and everyone, that's the beauty in everyone, in that uniqueness, and in that individualism, It'd be boring if everyone looked the same and all that business. But as celebrities, sometimes we project the wrong image. Because you only see us on a red carpet when someone's dressed us, and someone's done our makeup, and someone's done our hair, and we all look ready to go.
2 hours,
Yeah, it's like, I woke up like this 4 hours ago. No, we don't, but there's a pressure that if you don't look 100%, you've let yourself go, or you're not as attractive or fit, and that's wrong. It's just like, I gain weight for certain roles, I lose weight for certain roles, I have to look a certain way for something, but when you're on your downtime, you can just go to the store and not do your makeup, you don't have to do your hair, you don't have to wear a beautiful dress, you can do whatever you want to do. So, I got the most freedom when I stopped caring. What everyone else thinks of me is none of my business. So I don't care. I live my life, and that's when I got the most freedom. And I just want to say that you should all think the same, and you'll find yourselves feeling freer and more relaxed if you're just comfortable with your own beauty. You're all beautiful in every individual way, and you shouldn't care what everyone else thinks about you. It's none of their business, okay? So just enjoy your lives and be you, and that's the best possible thing. That's the best way to attract people to you that are like-minded, that are like you, so that people like you for who you are and not something that you keep projecting. You guys like Lexa, you like Lincoln, you like Shadow Moon. I'm not any of those. I'm this crazy goofball, so I love you. So if you were dating, you're not dating Lincoln, you're not dating Shadow. You're dating Ricky, and I'm grumpy in the mornings. I do terrible things that boys do. I pick my spots and I make terrible noises with my body. we don't need to go into it. But yeah, so at the end of the day, just be yourselves, love life, but as a celebrity, sometimes you don't get that opportunity, you know, you get judged very badly for it. So that's one of the bad sides, but like I say, I love playing make-believe. And I don't tell my studio this, but I do this for free. It's fun. I get to play make-believe, and I get to work with my idols, you know. How many people in the world are like, you know Alycia, she sat next to you. Like, I'm one of the luckiest guys in the world, right? It's just that, sit next to this beautiful lady and have fun. And you're too sweet. So, in that sense, I love my life too.
Est-ce qu'on a une autre question quelque part? Oui, comme ça. Que la personne qui a le micro peut juste lever la main. Ah, pardon.
It's a question for Alycia. Is there a love interest for Alycia in the future? But feel the welcome that Alycia. And more.
I can't tell you that. I can't actually answer that question, but I will say that things get a little bit more hopeful for Alycia. I know, which is wild, it's too much.
I like it.
It's
easier.
You think it would be easier, and then suddenly it makes everything more confusing because people are like, you just do the method, like, what's your deal? Like, when you introduce yourself, you're like, and they're like, yeah, but like, who are you? I can't tell you, but there's definitely more hope heading into the second half. Yeah, because she's in a pretty dark place and she hasn't been for a while, so looking up. Let's say that. On a une autre question ailleurs. Oui.
I noticed something about your acting technique. I wanted to know, did you take classes about micro-expression and body language?
About acting classes with body language and
micro-expression.
Micro-expression. No.
Why I asked that question?
I was going to elaborate. Definitely more of growing up in Australia. Like acting there is far more subtle and nuanced. I think in America there's a much bigger. Characters are often a little bit more bold, just in general, of their like movements and choices. In Australia, everything is almost like it's more realism based, and the camera often is always just here. So I think what I learned from more of a young age was just that was what I was exposed to, and so that's what I then kind of mimicked. But I think for me, it's always just. It's not something I do on purpose. I think it's just something that naturally comes to me. It's very much that if I'm inhibiting the scene in the right way and it feels real and it feels truthful, then it comes out the best it can. But it's also something, I had to adapt when I got over to America. There was almost too much subtlety and people were like, what is she thinking? Like, it's always so mysterious. and so I had to, there was a bit of a difference that I had to make, maybe like exploring what other choices could look like in body language and in like movement and so I started definitely trying to explore that a little bit more. And there are techniques and acting styles that are surrounded by that, but I don't really know them. I didn't do like training, so it was more just like I went to classes and some one-on-one sessions, and that's kind of where I picked up a lot of those things too. Yeah. Nasty.
Hi. I was wondering if you had any advice.
Where are you?
Voice.
Hello?
Hi. I was wondering if you had any advice about well, for someone who wants to enter the acting industry like myself?
Don't.
There's not a reason to back it up.
The first question. Advice, honestly, if you are not 100% sure you want to do it, it is the worst industry because you are too fat, too thin, too tall, too short, too dark, too light, you're too blonde, too brunette. It's an industry of no's, and it's an industry that's very hard on people and likes to break people down and tell you that you're not right and you're not good enough. And it's hard to be patient and wait for that role that suits you. Instead, you start to morph into something that you think people want, and you quite often lose yourself. And then even when you do get involved, you can then get swallowed up in the industry and lose yourself in many other ways. And you get influenced by the terrible dark parts of this industry that become accessible to you. So make sure that you're in it for the right reasons, and it's because you love to perform, you love to create characters, you love to work in this industry, and you're not doing it for money or for the celebrity or things like that, because that's a very, very minor part of this. And if your heart is not in it, then you're never going to enjoy this industry at all.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. You have to be in this for the right reasons. And it's not even just as black and white as too tall, too short, too like blonde, too brunette. It's things that are like ambiguous. I don't know, she just didn't have that thing we're looking for. And it's like, what does that mean? What is that thing? I can be that thing, sure. I can do that. Like, be a little more specific. Like, what do you mean? Like,
So, one audition,
like,
I wore too much aftershave.
what?
And a test for a TV show, I reminded the producer of an ex-boyfriend.
Oh, that's a rough one. Yeah,
That's why you don't get a job. You are perfect, exactly what they want. But this person goes, yeah, reminds me of an ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, I always go back to this. I started thinking, performers in like Shakespearean times were not paid and very much, or weren't revered very well. It was you had to do it because you loved doing it, and that's what you enjoyed was poetry and creativity and that kind of creative side of life. And I think if I could have done that then, with all the opposites of what it is today, where you don't get any of the acclaim or recognized, that's my indicator of, yeah, well then I could do it today. Because it has to be, does that make sense? Like it had to mean that I could have done it 500 years ago, and it would have still meant as much. And advice-wise, I think watch a lot of movies, like get influenced by actors, directors, writers that you love, chase their projects, and then be aware of what you can improve on and what other people are great at, and try and just better yourself without comparing yourself. But it's rough. It's definitely not an industry to be like, it's gonna be fine. It's a hard one to navigate, but it's rewarding in so many ways.
We're just going to stay all day. We're just going to stay here all day.
Netflix special, if you haven't seen it, you can catch it here. We're just going to do an hour.
We're going to do an hour of comedy.
Comedy.
Yes.
Yeah, comedy hour.
And Alicia's going to dance in the background.
Would you like to give it up for our guests?
Sometimes I say